thank you for both being here tonight and being a part of that, for parents to be able to get a chance to see you. So thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna sort of break off for a moment and let PTC do a portion of the meeting. And then Ms. Bing and myself are gonna spend a few minutes with you talking about our school initiatives for this year, and also a little bit about COVID, because I know you probably have some questions or, as we all do, concerns about COVID and how it's in the communities these days. So before we do that though, let me get up to Ms. Cortez, who is our PTC president. Thank you so much, Ms. Cortez, for being here and helping us to lead this.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming out and just being here and learning about what kind of events we're doing this year. As we're doing events, and that's always as exciting to us because we get to form community with the children. And it's always great when we see them celebrate, something that the school is doing, and it's also helping us fundraise. So we do have a few of the leads here. Some are working, got caught up in meetings, or stuck in traffic. So we have Ms. Naomi Ward, who is PTC lead as well. And she just basically is the right hand for me when I'm not here. We have this year Ms. Roseanne Castor, which she is treasury, and you will be hearing from her. We have 4 of these meetings a year, not to kind of keep taking your time, but it's always good to report back to you where the funds going to and what are we doing with them. We also have Karina Playtime, who kind of takes our meeting notes over there, and then everyone else, right? Am I missing anybody else? No, I think everybody's not here. But this year we have some great people that have added on to our team. We have someone who's going to be doing volunteer coordinator, which that helps me so much because we always want to make sure that we take care of our volunteers, especially for those big events that we're having. So starting with one, we do have sign-in sheets back there, so please find the grade that your child is in so that you guys can get credit for being here today. Another thing is, probably if you didn't get one of these at back to school night, this is our calendar that we have for PTC events, okay? These are always great to do. Now, since we started our school, Mr. Taylor has always put a volunteer out. And PTC gives you the opportunity for you to help us in our event and participate as well, but also get volunteer hours. So one of my goals today is to kind of walk you through on how you can get these hours per event that we're having. So when I counted, I only went from starting the beginning of this year till December. And if you were to participate in all these events, the way I would explain to you, you'll probably actually get like 25 hours from here till December. So definitely we need your help. One of the great things that we have accomplished with PTC is that everything that we fundraise goes back to support the teachers. We also bring out snacks to the teachers, like about like 2 times a year, correct? We also do what's called a breakfast for teacher appreciation for them. Then we also last year had our first dine-in sign for 8th grade. And that was amazing for them, especially after the year that they had. They were able to have fun and they all enjoyed it dressed up. We actually redid this whole area for them. So we're always looking for ways to support. So we're going to start just kind of going.
You need to flip to the next one?
Yeah. So who we are? We are, PTC stands for Parent Teacher Committee, and we're a group of parents that support the school and help fundraise and plan school events. We have teachers, as you met 2 of them here today, that they are volunteer and support and communicate with the students and parents about the events. Well, do you need volunteer hours? So as you know, Royal parents need to volunteer 20 hours per student, 30 hours for 2 students or more. You can obtain hours by volunteering at our events, donating supplies for our events, and attending spirit nights. The first one that we have, how many of you know that tomorrow is Jean Day? Okay, so that means that your child could wear jeans and pay $1, and it is supporting PTC. Other jean events will be supporting 1st grade, 2nd grade, you'll do that, but we have 2 this year, and the first one is ours. Now, one of the things with Jean Day, there's no hours on that, okay? No point system on that. So the way it works for those of you guys that are new is your student comes in through the car line and they have their dollar in hand, and Ms. Josanne will be here collecting that. If it happens that you guys are late and you come to the front desk, then they pay the front desk for that. Any questions on Jean Days? Awesome. The next one is Spirit Night. So our first Spirit Night, though the calendar does say 9/23, because in the summer, that's how we planned it, Tijuana Flats went ahead and changed it on us, and they want to do it on the 22nd. So that's Tijuana Flats here on 50 in Ocoee, and the hours from that will be from 4 to 8. Now, the way that works is basically anything that's spent from our school that they make, they go ahead and donate 20% of it. So there will be a flyer posted on the PTC page and also on the school Facebook page. And all you have to do really is to show it to them. You can also order online. So if you want to order online and pick up curbside, there will be a code on there that you can give. That's how they'll know you're with the school. If you decide to participate, you actually get 2 hours for that. So how can we do that? There will be a representative that day at the restaurant, and you need to sign in, and they will just make sure that your name and your student's name, and that's how you will get accredited for it. This year, we're trying to make it more fun. We will have like a spin the wheel, so you guys can get prizes, and we're trying to get a balloon artist volunteer. So if you guys know of anyone, they can get hours for that, and we would love it. So just come out and don't cook that night, just participate and help the school out. The next one is, Mr. Taylor loves this one, it's the PJ Drive. From the week of October 11th to October 15th, we have partnered with Bethany Christian Services in Winter Garden to provide PJs for the children who get placed into temporary homes. The way that works is,
the way it works is we're gonna work it the same way as last year. We're gonna have 4 boxes on the stage. All the children have been placed into houses, so what we have done is made it a house competition. So the children will come in, the receipts will be with the kids, or you can drop the receipts off at the front office for the PJs that you purchase. The kids will come in and put the PJs into their house boxes. We will count off the PJs for the different boxes. At the end of the week, one house will win, but every house will get some sort of points. So it is also a friendly competition among the houses for the kids to get involved in. As you can see, the 4 houses are on the roof. Everybody is in one. Alturismo, Amistad, Isabindi, or Revere.
Rubber!
Isabindi did win last year, though.
They did.
1 year.
So we try to make things as fun as possible for the kids to get involved, as well as to make it a good friendly competition among the houses so that the houses can also get points. And this also brings the kids closer together and make them realize teamwork.
And we will be giving 1 hour away for volunteer hours on that. So if you bring in 1 pajama, correct, that's worth the $10, your receipt must say that is 1 hour. If you want to bring 2 pajamas and it adds up to $20, then that is two hours. The way to do that is that we had parents last year take the receipt onto the pajama. In the receipt, your student's name and the parent's name. Another way that worked very well last year was that they were able to email it to the PTC email. And we will post that up on the Facebook page so you guys can have it. And we do have our volunteer coordinator that is attending to those numbers this year. Any questions on that? You might ask. Yes.
So how many can you donate?
As many as you want.
So if you give $5 or $50, you get 5 hours?
Yes.
Correct. Absolutely. So there is opportunity. Another thing is, who's Bethany Christian Service? I believe this is the 4th year we do it, Mr. Taylor? That we've been working with Bethany. Bethany Christian Services actually is the middleman between DCF and parents. So in the case, if a child needs to be placed in the middle of the night, instead of going to DCF, they get placed into a family that's already been approved, and they're there with them, kind of avoiding the court system until they can. So that's who Bethany Christian Services. They work actually now all nationwide. So they love the school for what we do. I know the last time we did it, we collected 200 pajamas. So it was very successful. So this one, I know kids are going to be very excited. So instead of having a Jean Day on October 15th, we're having a Harry Potter Day. So they can dress up as Harry Potter, and it will be $1, and that would also support PTC. Same thing like Jean's Day. Any questions? And this is their favorite one. This is Ms. Naomi's baby, so she can talk about that. Oh, okay.
So trunk or treat is something that we put on every year. It is something that is near and dear to all of us here at the school because it's our way of giving back. This is actually one event that we do not charge for. This is something that we hope that parents will donate candy to. We also hope that parents will donate time, just to get this event off of the floor. Last year we gave out about 200 bags of candy, and that still was not enough for a drive-through trunk or treat. We ran out of candy halfway throughout the night. That is how big the event is. This year, we're hoping that it will be back face to face. So we're gonna change it up a little bit, where when you come to trunk or treat this year, we're gonna have one entrance, one exit. So we'll be giving out tickets at the entrance only for children, that when they are leaving, they can collect their bags of candy. We're also going to have games and different things like that, that the kids can participate in and win different prizes and different candies before they get their bags of candy.
This event is held outside for those parents that are new. This is something that parents can volunteer and decorate their trunks. Parents love to do it. One of the things that's been great success is because if you decorate a trunk, how many hours do you get? 10 hours. Okay, so once again, if you decorate with your family, you know, kids have fun, people love it. And last year we had about 25 trunks. We would love to see that number climb up to 30 trunks this year. There will be a sign-up genius that be on the lookout because those go pretty fast. People like to do that. And then, as you know, Naomi, you can tell them what else we need.
We need bags of candy. We're gonna need water for those that are gonna be doing the cars, those that are gonna be running the games. We need somebody to help with that.
Yes, but we haven't spoken about that.
We need somebody to spearhead this event.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, both Anita and I cannot spearhead this event this year, but this person is gonna work closely with us in running the whole event. If you run the event, you get.
Your grandfather in for all hours. For the year. Serious, yeah, I mean, we figured it is an event. The reason we're doing this is because we're trying to open it up to more parents as our kids start growing. Naomi's child has phased out already, but she still works here. My daughter is hitting middle school soon, so we need to kind of start showing other parents how we run these events. So as we pass on, there are other parents behind us that know how to keep these events going. If you don't want to do a trunk and you want to help plan the event, just help plan it and work as a committee. We can still give you 10 hours, but you have to do the 2 meetings of the pre-planning and the event itself. So you have to attend those and then you'll get 10 hours. But if you don't have time to do that and you're like, you know, I wish I could get hours another way, you can always get by donating water, Amazon gift cards, candies. We always need lots of candies. And last year, we just had people donate $10. So remember, for every 10, you get 1 hour. Okay, so those are definitely many ways that you can get hours from that. And that event will take place on October 28th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It is a Thursday. There's no school that Friday. So that's always a good thing, correct? Teacher work day. Holiday. We always give out 2 prizes, first place and second place. So it is fun, guys. We have a DJ on place here, so it's fun. The kids love it. They always enjoy it. Amazing. It was fun last year as a drive-through trunk or treat. It went nice. But we would love to definitely have give out candy for every child that attends, and that is what we're looking for.
That's our goal this year.
So as you can see, it is one of our biggest events, and we are needing about 40 plus volunteers. So we do have availability for that. Once again, it will be up on a Sign Up Genius on the Facebook page for PTC. Yes.
I was about to ask that.
Sure. Any questions on this one?
Yes.
Yeah, my question, I know last year was drive-through, and at the end of the drive-through, the kids got candy. The year before, we actually walked through, and the trunk or treaters were giving out candy. I'm questioning because you're saying at the end they get candy.
at the end.
So they're not gonna be giving out candy?
No.
The trunk or treat, no, the people are doing the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're still in COVID,
Yeah,
unfortunately, the
okay,
cars are not going to be handing out the
Okay.
candy. We're gonna have the candy at the end to make it a little more safe for the kids.
Sure, but it'll be a walkthrough.
It will be a walk, it will
Okay.
be a hopefully, once nothing changes.
Yeah, true.
today.
We don't know.
As of today, and we
Understand.
do, actually, we had someone donate, like, small games, like some people find a carnival, very small games, nothing big. So that's another activity that we'll have, so that's why we're needing a lot of volunteers for this one. Any other questions? And like Naomi did mention that we are needing someone to run this event alongside us. It's just, we're just trying to train and push forward for other people to learn. And if they do this, you're basically getting all your hours in, because it is a lot of time. Okay, the next one, yep, we have, so that same night, we're doing a spirit night. Some people can attend, some people attend and go to the spirit night. Papa John's, it will be the second year that they will be doing right after trunk or treat. You can head on over, order your pizza, you can order it through the phone, just make sure you say you're with RCCP, or you can show up and order and it's trunk or treat. Now for this one, it's fun because, and then you get an hour also just for ordering. But this one, Papa John's, they're really, I guess, gracious to us, and whoever is the class that orders the most, he always comes back and gives them a pizza party for the students.
Oh.
So he does amazing with that. Yep. And this is one of my favorites. This one, it's been really fun to do. I remember the first one that we did. You were here for the first one, thank you. So we're here. But we have grown, and every year we pick a movie, a children's movie. Mrs. Taylor's gotten very fancy and gotten our own projection correct screen, and they know how to hook it up. And we sit out there on the lawn. You can bring your chairs, the blankets, and it is an entrance fee. This is a fundraiser for us. But once again, we need many volunteers. We need help to plan the event and help at the event. And once again, if you do any of those two, it gives you 10 hours again. This event will be November 12th at 6 p.m. and it is $3 per person. We also have concessions here where we'll have like
Popcorn, usually have popcorn, chocolates, chips, those sort of things that you would normally eat when you're at the movies. But just remember, it is a family night. You cannot drop off your kids and leave them. People tend to do that, and we have to stop them and say, no, we're not babysitting them. School hours are over. This is a family night. This is for you to enjoy with your kids outside under the stars. So just remember, please, 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 this is, you need to come with your kids. Don't drop your kids off because we will be calling you back.
And we have pizza too, so it is definitely a nice event to enjoy. And we're there. We also need people for concessions. We need people helping us set up and break down as well. And once again, we also need someone to head this event just because we're trying to, pass the baton over. And this is once again an opportunity to gain your hours. Any questions on movie night? Yes.
So if you had this one as well, would it count for all the hours?
What do you mean?
Like the trunk or treat one?
If
If you work
you were
both
to head
committees, you'll be done.
If-
Okay, so,
Correct.
okay.
Yep, you'll be done. It
No, I was
takes
saying,
manpower.
it's 20, how many kids do you have in the building? Just one of you? The 20 hours is all you need?
Yeah, 20
You're good to
hours. All you need.
He's
wouldn't
enough for
appreciate it.
5, that's enough. He's the equivalent of 5 kids.
But no, I agree. Any other question, guys? So as you can see, there are many opportunities for you guys just in the beginning of the year to be able to obtain your hours, and also you're giving back to the school, and we go ahead and push that forward onto the students and the teachers. And the kids' favorite is the holiday shop. This is in December. And it's upstairs. We get a room upstairs every year. Every class gets to visit the holiday shop, and you give your child, money, and they go shop. So we do need about 5 volunteers per day to be in the classroom to assist each child to be able to stay within the budget and shop around for Christmas gifts for their family members. This is definitely a big one for us. The holiday shop has been amazing to us, the company that we always deal with. But it does take manpower, and we are looking for someone to head this one up. This person does need to be on school ground from Monday through Friday. We also need a team to decorate the classroom for us the week before it starts, which is that Friday before it starts. And then also to help us break down everything back into boxes and, so it can go away. Lots of opportunities. Once again, if you get your hours based on the hours that you've worked.
I have a question, because I was not able to do the holiday shop last year because I love the holiday shop. But last year you had to go online and do some kind of video for 90 minutes. Are we required to do that now?
No, last year's one was a competition among the kids.
You had to do the volunteer video though for 90
That
minutes?
volunteer video is for when you come on campus. It's safe school training. So anyone who's
That's
want to
kind of-
volunteer
Right.
has to go on and do that and
Okay.
get the certificate for
Because
that.
at first
before
I
they-
thought it was just for, when they go off campus on field trips. But then when I
Yeah,
went to
anytime
sign up
you're
for
mixing
holiday
with
shop,
kids.
they said I couldn't do it, and I couldn't get the video.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it downloaded on my phone, and I know you sent me a site to try to upgrade some things, and I just never
Just couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, I was very sad last year because I really do love
You can meet me at Dunkin' Donuts and I can help you with that if it needs to be
And I'm just
done.
saying, the parents need to know they have to do that 90-minute video.
Yes.
Because some people might not be able to get it like I can.
Absolutely. If you are volunteering for an event that you're coming onto school ground while the children are still here, you will need to do that training,
Physical
correct?
training,
And
yeah.
where can they get that? It's on our.
We'll have it on the
page,
school
right.
website. It should already be on it, but I'll make sure today or tomorrow morning that Ms. Gomez has it up there.
I just thought that was something.
It's already up there?
It was in the first day packet.
It's also in your first day packet.
Between break
I finished in
Oh,
4 days.
And FYI, you can't go on a school trip unless you've done
Yeah,
that.
can't take
so-
field trips either.
Yeah, so just make sure that if you want to volunteer at school trips, you can do that.
Yeah. It's an every year.
So guys, like once again, there are many opportunities. If you wanted to do the holiday shop, the gifts start off at 50 cents all the way to like $30. Okay, there's also, if you don't want your child shopping, which it is a fun experience, it is virtual as well. So this year we will be having both where you can go online and purchase. What I do suggest, but it's worked out very well, is that you go online and have you and your child kind of pick the things that they want to buy, so you can give them that amount of money and just write a list. And when they come in, it helps us so much, it helps us a lot that we just grab the child, they already have a list on what are the things they're shopping for. So those are our events. We're always here for you. PTC is here from here till December. We'll meet again, and we'll talk about the other events that we have coming on. Just make sure to check your calendars. With Spirit Night, just know sometimes we might be adding 2 on. Those might change a little bit because the restaurants have different policies on when they have them. Yes? How many hours?
How are they being tracked?
The hours are being tracked. So when you have events when you participate in an event with us, it's basically through sign-in sheets, and we just bring them to the front desk, and they're the ones who kind of take care of them.
Where do we see where we are? In the past, we used to have a card that they press in.
Yeah, there's been a card in the past. There's also been a electronic sign-in sheet where when you call, they give you the hours that you've achieved. Teachers also have a sheet, so that in other words, if you volunteer in a teacher's classroom, the teacher has a form they fill out that says, Ms. Jones volunteered 2 hours, and they turn it in to one of the ladies in the front office. Probably going to be Ms. Kavita, is our 12-month admin up front, and she'll have a tally sheet, an electronic spreadsheet of every family and what they've donated hour-wise already. Okay?
Someone online asked, when can parents begin donating candy for trunk or treat?
I guess
For the
anytime.
month of October, let's see. I don't want to hold
Or
on to it.
ending of September, beginning of October.
Yeah, right, right.
I am here, so I can always take it and lock it up in the closet, PDC closet until then.
And then,
Any other questions?
Do you have any of those here tonight?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So make sure you have those. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, guys. It takes a village. It takes a lot to put these events on, but to see the kids enjoy it and have fun at it, it's always an amazing feeling. Okay?
Thank you, lady. So I want to echo that very quickly before we transition into the school piece. I mean, I'm just going to be honest, guys, and those of you that are here tonight, your little ones are with you, your students are with you. When kids see that you value it, they value it. Right? When kids see that we value it, and our teachers value it, and our administrators value it, they value it. So coming together as a family, and this is what we are. When you decided to join Renaissance Charter of Crown Point, you joined a family of people who who have committed to making sure that our kids have the best opportunity to be successful. And to do that, it takes moms, dads, aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, neighbors, friends, teachers, administrators. It takes everybody collectively to provide the best opportunities and the best experiences for these kids. This is one of those things where it shows that we want to be more than just a classroom. We want to be well-rounded. We want our kids to see and understand that there are lots of fun things associated with school, not just a classroom grade. Classroom grade is extremely important, and working to grow their mind is extremely important, but we like to grow minds outside of the classroom as well. I want them to be well-rounded when they leave here. I want them to be problem solvers, collaborators, people that can take those skills and move on to the job market, to college, whatever they would decide to do from there. So you guys being a part of that, and you saying to your children, it's so important to me that I am here with you, that I'm going to sacrifice whatever it was that I was going to be doing as a dad or a mom or a family member, because we know how easy it is to be busy and how easy it is to be committed and connected to other things. But we get one shot at this. They're a kindergartner one time, right? They're a sixth grader one time, hopefully not a second time, just one time, right? And then we don't get it. There's no redos there, right? We don't get that opportunity to invest ever again. Listen, those of you that already know, many of you already know, you blink and what happens? Time moves on. Time moves on. These are opportunities and times and experiences that we can share with our kids that are just worth, you can't put a price tag on it. It's just immeasurable how important this time is. So thanks for being here tonight first, but what I would encourage you not to do is don't fade away in the shadows as the year goes on, because typically PTCs, what happens is there's a lot of generated interest up front, and then we get busy and we come across other things and we're like, well, someone else will take care of that. But really, no one else really will, right? We have to assume we're the ones to make that happen. And really, you're not just impacting yourself, you're impacting other kids, your kids, and this school as a whole. So we need you. So I hope you guys will take that to heart and continue to be a part of that. I'm going to introduce you to Miss Bing here. She's going to speak to us. Collectively, she oversees our curriculum department, and she's going to speak just a little bit to you tonight about our strategic planning and our strategic goals that we go after as a school. Every year, as a school, we are responsible for building strategic planning. And those strategic plans we call a SIP, a school improvement plan, are what we use, and we use the data from the students and the things that they accomplished the year before to form those plans for the following year. So you're going to hear a little bit about that right now, so you have an idea of what we're looking to go after and what we're looking to accomplish in this academic year. Ms. Bing?
All right, hello everyone, I'm Ms. Bing. So I want to just talk through our 4 major initiatives for this school year. And so like Mr. Taylor says, at the beginning of every school year, we take a look at where we're coming from and where we want to go, and we create initiatives to follow as a school. So our first one is around schoolwide behavior. So Ms. Ward and Ms. Naomi talked to you a little bit about the house system. That is something that we started last year, and it is a way for our students to be connected to each other and to the adults in the building. So as a first grade teacher, you're in the same house with students that are in second grade and third grade and fourth grade, so you can build a relationship with more kids so that every kid in the building has a connection to every adult in the building. So one thing, we started last year, but last year because we were mobile, we didn't get to do a lot of activities. This year, we're hoping to be able to do a lot more house activities. So our house sorting, instead of being in the classrooms, the kids got to come down to the cafeteria. They got to see the wheels spin on the big screen, and they got sorted into houses. So it's a way to build a connection with our students. You'll also see students start talking about live school. So if you were here last year, you remember live school is how they get points. So when they do well in school, or they do something positive, or they're kind to each other, they get points in live school, and they get to spend those points on candy or treats or toys and different things that we have available in our Scholar Cart. So that's a part of our school-wide behavior plan to, promote positive behavior within the school. The second thing on there talks about Wicker instructional strategies. So we are an AVID school, so if you're a middle school parent, you probably have heard more about AVID, but AVID is actually a system that we utilize in our entire building from K to 8. It's an instructional system. So when you see that term WICR, it describes different teaching strategies. So W stands for writing strategies. I stands for inquiry strategies, so to promote critical thinking. C talks about collaborative strategies where students get to collaborate with each other. O is organization, so utilizing their agendas, or if their grade level uses them, or utilizing their binder. And then R talks about reading strategies. So our goal as a school, we started implementing them last year, is to utilize those different WICR strategies every single day in every single lesson plan. Students should be writing every day. They should be answering critical thinking questions. They should be organized, and our teachers are teaching them how to be organized, even when they're as kindergartners going all the way up to 8th grade. Our third has to do with our ESE students, and those are students that participate in special education programs. So we have different ways that we have decided to try to track those students better so that we can improve their instruction. Because a lot of times, our ESE students, they have different types of accommodations that they need to be successful. So we want to make our teachers better at being able to target their instruction. And our last initiative is small groups. So that's that small group targeted instruction in every grade, in every subject. So that's K all the way to 8. So when you hear the term small group targeted instruction, what that means is that the teacher, normally you see them teaching at the front of the room, they're teaching the whole class. But at the end of that lesson, after they've taught whole group, we want all of our teachers to be sitting with the small group every single day. So it might be that your student, after the lesson, on Mondays, they get pulled to the kidney table with the teacher, and they get that small group, like 5-student instruction. And then a different day, another group of kids get pulled to the small group so that they can get that support. Every single kid, no matter if they are an ESE student or a gifted student, every single student is going to get that small group instruction every single week. So that's a big initiative within our building. Even our middle school students, the 8th grade students, kindergarten students, all of them are going to get that small group targeted instruction so that we can fill any learning gaps that they have in their learning. So those are our 4 big academic initiatives that we have going on in the school this year. So all of our teachers, we introduced this before school started during pre-planning. And this is how these goals are what's going to push us to move our school.
Ms. Bing, thank you. And I think all of us have an understanding of what the COVID gap is, and we understand that last year, at best, was a year where students, for the most part, lost, right? We didn't win the war last year. So last year, we spent a lot of time trying our best to provide online education. Our school actually provided 3 different options: an online version, a blended version where you could come 2 days a week and be home 3 days a week, and then a face-to-face version. We started the year with about 450 kids in the building. We have 1,150 in attendance, but 450 were here. By the third 9 weeks, I believe we had jumped almost to 800 in the building, and never really went past about 825. This year, we have started the year with about 1,150 in the building. So it's a different look, that is for sure. What we do understand about last year is that engagement for students online is a difficult challenge, especially when you're looking at a 7 or 8 hour day, especially when you're looking at kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade kids. That's a tough day. That's a tough day with mom or dad sitting next to them, much less mom and dad have to be at work, right? So what we found was what? A slide. We weren't able to impart the wisdom and the rigor that we needed to in our children, and thus we lost a year, right? So it's called the COVID slide. I wouldn't say we lost an entire year, but I would say we definitely lost some valuable time. So what can we do to try to compensate for that? I tell the staff all the time, it's like eating an elephant. You can't do that in one sitting. You eat one bite at a time, right? And eventually you get there. So what we have found and what the data shows is that small group instruction is one of the finest ways to gain that instruction and to impart that wisdom into those kids and create that rigorous situation and to get that collaboration piece going. So we have adopted this school year an identified schedule of when we are to see small group instruction happening in every classroom. We don't leave it to the teacher's discretion. At the time period during the day where we come as administrators and make sure that with fidelity that is happening. course, all the other great strategies of what teachers do are certainly in play, but we have that specific thing that we believe is valuable. So we brought it to our school this year. Some of our teachers, especially the middle school, middle and high school teachers, they're more sit and get lecture kind of people. So it's new, it's different. It's a different mindset when you have to think through putting your kids in stations and learning centers and small groups and circulating around and having them work as well as you directing them. So it's a neat thing for everybody. We're stretching minds this year, not just the students, but we're stretching our teachers a little bit as well. So we're excited to share that with you. And we will talk more about that. We will actually have a night or two during the year also that we bring parents together for our FSA and for third grade portfolio and things of those natures that you'll need to know more about. What I did want to end with today is a little bit about our situation with COVID. And I want to give you some explanation about who we are as a school so that you can understand the dynamic of it. Because I guess most people think of us as an Orange County school because we're housed in Orange County. We are in Ocoee, and Ocoee is part of Orange County, and we are a public school. So most people think of all schools in Orange County as part of the Orange County School District. And we are part of that family, but there are 40 different, or a little more than 40 now, charter schools within Orange County. And each of those charter schools have a governing organization that govern them. They're not necessarily run by Orange County. We do adopt a lot of Orange County things, like the school calendar. If you have kids who go to Orange County Public Schools, you probably have noticed that every Wednesday they have an early release. So do we. We have a start day when they start. We have a finish day when we finish, and those are very similar. Last year, it got to be a little different. We started on the 21st. Orange County started on the 10th. So there were some differences there. So being a charter school, you have the autonomy to do that, to be able to think differently, do things differently. You have some flexibility that other schools publicly that are not chartered do not have. They're governed by Orange County School District, and they have no choices. Charter Schools USA is one of the largest companies in the country that does charter. We have 95 schools in 5 states. So it is a very large company. About 63 of those schools are in the state of Florida. So it's one of the major hubs. Orlando, Tampa is a major hub. Broward County, South Florida, Fort Lauderdale is another large hub. Jacksonville. Also on the West Coast, we have some Sarasota, Tampa, Bradenton schools. And then all the way over in Pensacola, we have schools as well, down in Miami. So there are many, 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 many schools. The company, Charter Schools USA, manages all those schools through governing bodies, boards, and those boards govern schools. So I say all that to you so that you can understand that Charter Schools USA and Orange County philosophies don't always jive. They don't always come together. And so a prime example of that, Orange County had a board meeting the other night that stated for the next 60 days, beginning on Monday, that there will be a mandatory mask mandate for teachers and students and visitors and everybody who comes in. I can tell you as of today, Charter Schools USA has not adopted that same policy. Now that may change. That may change tomorrow. I may have information for you tomorrow to let you know that. What I can tell you is our policy is that we strongly encourage mask wearing for students. Our teachers are to wear masks. This is how it reads. The teachers are to wear masks when they are transitioning, when they are in the cafeteria, when they are anywhere moving with their kids, but when they are instructing educationally, they are not required to wear a mask. That could be argued 50 different ways. I get it. I understand that. That's a frustrating piece for some of our parents, for sure. However, that is the company policy. It does not jive with Orange County, but it does not have to jive with Orange County because we are a charter school. I want, as your principal, to protect your kids more than anybody in this world. But you do have to understand that I am part of a large company that lays down the guidelines and the rules, and we are to abide by those as being part of that company. So I will tell you this, the rules are changing and they change constantly. The current flow chart that you see in front of you has been now in place for a little over a week for us. Every week or two, some kind of tweak, something happens. Our back to school packet that was put out electronically, it's on our website, also has our COVID protocols and procedures, so if you need to see that. Of course, those were the procedures at the beginning of the school year, and they too are constantly changing. But as of today, this is how it looks. You have a student who is COVID positive in your classroom, you're going to receive a letter from me as fast as I can knock that out. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I ceased to be your principal, and I have now begun to be your COVID coordinator. From 7 in the morning until 8 at night, that's all I am doing. Investigating, sending letters, contacting physicians, contacting you as parents, looking at seating charts, making decisions about who's going to go home with who. It is unbelievable, the volume of what we're contending with. And guys, that's not just here. That is everywhere we go right now. So I, unfortunately, as the principal, it's a confidential issue, and all of that HIPAA and all those things that happen with that, which means it falls on me to make that happen. So if I take an extra hour, 2 hours, 45 minutes, or even an afternoon to get it to you, it's not because I'm not trying, it's because I've got 17 in front of you. And I'm working through those to get them to you as best I can. So the protocol, so that you know and understand now, is this. If a child is COVID positive in a particular classroom, immediately I will send a letter to the parents, having them understand that there is a student within their classroom that has tested positive. And that positive can be any number of things, guys. It can be deceiving. It can just be a COVID situation in someone's home. A lot of our COVID incidences happened and kids had never even attended our school. So, but you won't know that as a parent. You'll just get a letter and you'll be thinking what you're thinking, as all parents would. So there's just so many dynamics to it that you're not going to be able to know or see. But what you need to trust and understand is this, that when it happens, immediately I am about the process of investigating it and making sure that you are as protected as you possibly can. So that student immediately is put on what we call 10-day quarantine. And at the end of 10 days, we look at, or before we even get to 10 days, I ask a series of questions, and some of you are probably in this room that I've been on the phone with, maybe, don't know for sure. However, what I ask first and foremost is, what was the positive date? And then I ask right after that, symptoms. What was the first day you saw symptoms? Normally that's a day or two prior to testing positive. We go from the symptom date and we count 10 days forward. And on the 10th day, I say to you and will say to you, as long as Johnny has no fever at all for 24 hours on that 10th day, and his symptoms are subsiding or improving, then he may come back to school on the 11th day. Okay? Some of you will say, well, do they have to test again? They can test again. I would strongly recommend it, but I can tell you this. Sometimes a kid will test positive for months. So by coming back in 10 days and saying, I'm still positive, that can be a long road for you. But what we do know is this, if you are 10 days and then there is no fever at the end of 10 for 24 hours, and it is subsiding symptom-wise, you're in pretty good shape to be back in school. So that's what we allow at that point. So that student can then come back to school. Did you want to share something?
I just wanted to add, just because I'm watching what they're saying on here. Just so you guys know, when we do have those positive cases, regardless of whether or not they've been in school the day before or 2 days before, we do put them on a list to, or put that classroom on a list to be sanitized when those kids leave the room, so that we sanitize that room. Our facilities has also sanitizes the hallways pretty much every night. They have a big Clorox machine. So when we empty out, aftercare's gone, everybody's left the building, they sanitize the hallways, and then they do go through weekly and sanitize the rooms, but if we know that a COVID case happened, we give that room number to facilities and they will go into that room and make sure that that room gets sanitized too. So just so you know that we do take measures once we find out that a student has tested positive to make sure that those rooms are clean for when those kids come back into the room. However, I mean, we usually don't know whether or not a student is positive until the kids are already in the room, so we have to wait until the end of the day. We don't have anywhere to put them in the middle of the day.
Of course, kids that are positive are immediately, once we find out that that's the case, they're removed, they're put in a quarantine area, parents come pick them up right away, and then, of course, we start the process of what we need to do. So I'm gonna go through a few more things, and then I want to answer your questions. So once we know that the 10 days is over and the child has subsided with the fever and they are subsiding with any symptoms, then of course that student is then welcome to come back to school. A lot of times what will happen is mom or dad will be COVID positive and they'll have 2 or 3 kids. And the 2 or 3 kids are, at home. They're with mom and dad. So the likelihood of the 3 kids getting COVID are pretty good, unless mom and dad have done an incredible job of really locking down on one side of the house or leaving the house for a few days to be somewhere isolated, that kind of thing. So we're always watching for that. What I would discourage you from doing, and I've talked to a lot of parents about this, is as the parent gets positive, and then immediately they want to test their kids. So typically what's going to happen is that period of which you're going to become positive, if you're going to be, it's usually 3 to 5 days. Right? Something's going to happen. You're going to start getting symptoms. Things are going to begin happening. So if you become positive yourself, and it's say a Thursday afternoon, and you've held your kids out for 2 days and you're going to hold them out for 2 more because you've done a COVID test and you're waiting for results, or you have another sibling that is, and you're trying to be cautious. And guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being forward about that, saying, "Hey, I've got to stay. I'm gonna take it for the team, and I'm gonna make sure this school has very little chance of catching this because of my kids, because I'm gonna hold on to them." And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But there's a fine line there. I want you to take care of your kids, and I want you to protect them, but I also want to educate them. And I can't educate them the way we need to if they're not here. So that has to come second to health. I get it, but it's still very important. So do me this. If you're going to if there's a COVID situation in the house and you've just gotten it, instead of doing the next day testing for your child, wait. And I can give you an address tonight, a place where you can go and get a result in 15 minutes. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to wait 4 days, 3 days, this or that. Oh, we're out of appointments. This is drive in your car, come on through. There's a tent there. They take care of you. Within 20 minutes, electronically, you get your test result. Okay, so I'll tell you that place before we leave tonight, which will help you. But if you become COVID positive on a Wednesday or a Thursday, do me the favor, hold those kids for the day or 2 out for sure. Let us know. We'll make sure the teachers are reaching out in Schoolwide and in other ways to make sure that they don't get behind. And then I want you to wait till Sunday. I don't want you to test that next day, the following day. I want you to wait Sunday. Wait the 4 days, wait 5 days, then test right before school would start on Monday. You'll get your result back in 20 minutes. Then you'll know whether they're positive or not. Much more likely to get a accurate positive reading or negative reading 4 or 5 days after the initial exposure rather than the day after. Now listen, some of you are going to do it the day after, the next day, the next day, the next day. I get it. Listen, I know you want to protect your family, protect your kids. I get that. But at least give that longer period to test so that you'll get a true understanding of what's happening there. Kids that are not positive, after the 5th day, if they're asymptomatic, then, they test. If they test negative, then they're welcome to come back to school. It was saying 7 days, but we're saying now it's already changed again. After 5 days, if they test negative, they can come right away. Okay? Once you get that negative test, then you're good to get back in action as quick as possible. Now, here's another thing that happens and makes you guys nervous. You get letters and letters and letters and letters and letters. Guys, I'm telling you, transparency. We've been doing this now for 3 weeks. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks. I have 67 incidences, and I have about 65 COVID positives. 67 incidences, 65 COVID positives. So, and many of those incidences eventually turn into what? Positives, because they're first exposures. An incidence is an exposure. They may never get COVID, but in many cases, if, like I said, they're in the home with brothers and sisters and moms and dads, they're probably going to turn in. So these incidences that are 65 are things that we watch closely that may very well turn into COVID situations as well. So we are on the watch constantly for that. Know this, the rule of thumb changes, but currently, if I begin to see a trend in a particular grade level, not just in the grade level, but in a particular class of 4 kids, 3 to 4 kids that are all at the same time COVID positive, then I'm beginning to look at sequence charts very closely to see exactly where those kids are sitting, to see exactly which kids will be greatly impacted or most impacted by that. And those are the times that you will get individual phone calls saying, I would like for you, please, to keep your child home for these days. We suspect that they may have had a more than average chance of being COVID affected. So we're going to ask you to take those kids home. I watch closely for that. If we don't have that right now, about 4 is what I'm sharing with you. That's as of today, that changes. Then at that point, we are watching closely, letting parents know the COVID positive kids, and that's how it works. So there are, when you get to middle school, it's different because 6th grade changes classes 7 times, right? So that's 7 different groups of kids that I look at seating charts on and see where's the commonalities, where are the kids that are, and when we find those commonalities are in that 3 and 4 range, then we're having those conversations and those phone calls. So I know from your standpoint, from what you see that we send home to you, it might look like there's not enough happening, not enough going on with that. But I can promise you, there is, between me and myself, it is unbelievable the work that we're putting in to keep your children as safe as we possibly can. If I'm your principal and I'm able to make the decision about things might look a little different. Let's just be honest. But I am a principal that has your kids' best interests at heart, but I also have a company that does the same thing, and I have to work within the bounds of that company. Tonight, I'm hoping to have a final word on the mask update for 60 days. Our teachers, I believe for the most part, feel the value of that. Now, some of them do exercise their right to pull it down when they instruct, and I've heard some of you as parents say, my kids are saying when they're in the classroom, the teacher has their mask down. And that is so true in some cases because the policy does read right now that they can do that. Okay, but when they're transitioning out here and in other places, it's supposed to be mask up as business. And that's the way we roll with that. Okay, now, I know there are going to be some questions, so ask away.
I know we talked about sanitizing the classrooms, and right now COVID's gotten up again. I was curious about the lunchroom. I'm sitting at a very dirty table right now. Do these tables get wiped down every day?
And you wipe down every evening before we go. We also have it's called a Clorox 360 machine. And that machine is
Kind of looks like a vacuum.
it shoots mist and all kinds of stuff too. So they enter classrooms with it, they disinfect with what they normally do, and then they shoot this mist across all the desks, all the classrooms, all that stuff, almost every night, especially any room where a COVID case was cited, immediately that room is disinfected right away. All the other rooms are hit on a very alternating basis weekly, more than once a week.
Otherwise, it would be a lot of work. I was just curious on the tables because like I said, I'm sitting here at a very dirty.
That's because aftercare was
This
just in
aftercare
here.
was in
I figured they're
But they are wiped.
after we leave.
Yeah, they're wiped after every group that eats.
Okay.
There
So
are a set
after,
of
yeah.
custodians, and you can't really see it, but it's over here to the right. You can see the things hanging, looks like mops hanging from the wall. They have little disinfected sponges on the bottom, and those actually hit every table and every bench before the kids as they transition from class to class as they come.
And I do want to let parents know quickly, I have been here for several years. I know this principal is awesome. He really does look after our children and his staff. So if you're first time here, stay here because it really is, and the teachers are really good too.
How much are you?
We'll raise it up for the next one.
Those volunteer hours, not those.
Those
That was the 20 right there. That was the 20.
Yeah, thank you.
If a parent knowingly sends their child to school, knowing that they won't have COVID, is there any type of consequence for that?
It's a great question. So the question is, if a parent absolutely knows their kid is COVID positive and they refuse to acknowledge that and just send their kid to school anyway, what can we do about that? Legally, I don't know. I've not ever been asked that question. I mean, just we think of the right thing to do, common decency is that we don't do that. And then I ask questions and challenge them on that and say, listen, it's bigger than you and that kind of thing. But as parents, I mean, it's like anything else. If somebody intentionally comes in to harm your kid, there are recourses that you could do as a parent, obviously on your own. I don't know that there's been any precedent for that yet, though, where you would say that's against the law, you're going to be arrested for that or something of that nature. I don't know. that I can ask. I don't have an answer for you. It's not like, if you were the mom who did that, you don't attend my school, it's not like I can suspend you or I can remove you from my school for that. That would be the most extreme thing that I can do, and there's no policy that can support that for me. But the question is still a valid question. And I would say that to you because, listen, some of us, we work. And we can't take off work or we lose the job and I can't pay rent or I can't pay the mortgage or I can't put food on the table. I have to work and I have no other place to put my kid. So I understand the value of that dilemma. But I also want you to understand that it's bigger than you and your family. And there are people dying, guys, dying. 30-year-olds, 15-year-olds, not just the elderly. There are people dying because of this. So the implications of being, like she just mentioned, just outright forward with knowing you are being blatant about that are something that I would certainly pursue as your principal. I don't know where that would take me, but I would find out. I would find out. It's a very good question. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, I heard Biden talking, because he's 12, about going into the schools and vaccinating kids, and I'm against that. And I wanted to know what y'all's standpoint is.
Don't have a standpoint on that at all. There's been no discussion at all with Charter Schools USA in regards to vaccinating students or using our facility as a host facility for that. So I know of no plans or
I
ever
was just
anything
worried,
about it.
because like the thought jumped into my head was, what if he's there and I don't know what happened? Because I know a few years back in Colorado, they went in and vaccinated kids.
Well, I can tell you, there would be no vaccination of children without parental consent. I promise you that.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna tell you this, it's gonna change again. And I'm gonna give you more information, and I'm gonna share with you more and more about things that are happening. You're in a place where we care a lot about kids, but I'll be honest with you, you're in a capacity building. It's a blessing and it's a curse. The blessing is that we're fully funded, and the resources that we can provide these kids because we're fully funded is insurmountable, unbelievable for these kids. But on the other side, we're at capacity, which means we got a lot of kids in this building. And the truth is, in every one of these classrooms, being transparent, we can't keep kids 3 feet apart all the time. We definitely can't keep them 6 feet apart. Okay, because you're in classrooms, even with the kindergartners, with 18, 19 kids and a teacher. And in middle school, it can be up to 25 kids in a classroom. So just know, we are doing everything we can thoughtfully to provide safety for them. We have one directional flow upstairs for the middle schoolers. They only can travel in one direction. We don't transition the middle schoolers and the elementary kids at the same time. We try to keep them apart as best we can. We have hand sanitizing machines throughout the school. We're not doing thermometer checks this year, but if we needed to go back to that, that's certainly something that could happen if it gets to that point where we need to do that. The cafeteria is not like it was last year. Last year was too new seats. But the guidance we've been given from the company is that you're not doing it all day in the classroom. So in the cafeteria, they're asking us to sort of lump it together a little more. Normally, these tables would be connected. So you would have long connected tables. We have separated them out so that we can separate kids as best we can. Sometimes this cafeteria is no fuller than what you would see right here. And we have to spread out as best we can. Other times, depending on the schedule of the day, there are more kids in here and we can't separate them quite that much. Where's the downside to that? Well, when they eat, they gotta have their masks off, guys. Right? So when they're eating, we are encouraging strongly and mandating that they stay in their seats and not get up. Not move around, stay. We have mobile garbage cans, you can see them. We as administrators push them around so the kids don't have to get out of their seats. Of course, there is some bathroom usage here or there, but this is that area that I struggle with the most. All kids have to be fed. And in their classrooms, if we kept them there like we did last year, because we're at full capacity, they'd be even closer to each other in their classrooms than they would be here in the cafeteria. So it's another challenge and another struggle for us. Last year with 400 kids in the building, we literally could separate out. We could do that. Unfortunately, we're not sitting with that scenario. The last thing I wanted to say to you, and I know a lot of you are probably interested in this, is that At this point, the company has decided against virtual learning, or mobile, we call it mobile learning here, because we have looked at the data and we understand clearly that the best learning for kids is when they're here in our presence. But they have not forgotten the value of safety as well. So OWL technology, you're looking at one right up there, is in every classroom. We have 47 of those. So what we're going to be doing for kids, the start is for kids who are COVID positive only. Not for parents who say, well, I'm just gonna keep my kids home because I want to keep them home. That's not the kids who will get that. If you're positive with a test and it's submitted to me, those kids who are COVID positive are gonna have an opportunity for online listening. But not the same learning as last year, but they will be in the classroom at least. Those OWLs allow you to be in the classroom and listen to the dialogue of the teacher, the teaching of kids, and the kids' interaction as well to the dialogue that the teacher's giving. So those days when they're out and you don't know how to answer all those questions, they'll be able to listen in, plus get on Schoology, the website, the information about the assignments and things they need to do. So that's step number one. Will there be a time when we have mobile education again? I cannot say no to that, because if the things continue to grow like they are right now, and we continue to spike and have more and more, then we may very well, as a school, go back to that. We may. I can't say we won't. They have always put technology at the forefront of this company. And they have no issue utilizing technology to educate kids. But we did find last year, guys, being honest, being transparent, we did find last year that even with our better, some teachers are tremendous in digital learning. They're just apt for that. Other teachers are more the face-to-face folks. Even the ones that are apt to be more successful in the technology realm, we found that those kids were not learning, were not getting the gains that they normally get in years past when they were face-to-face. Now, there are outliers. There are some kids that took off and just did tremendous outside of this, the physical walls of the school. There really are. There are kids that just really tore that up. And then there are a lot of students who just tanked. Overall, we were finding more of the tank than we were anything else. So I'm not going to take any of that off the table, because our company is a forward-thinking company, and we're always looking for ways to keep you safe, keep your kids safe, and to teach you effectively. I'll leave you with this, one last thing. We have some teachers in the building that are exceptional. Just like in your workforce, there are people in your departments that just seem to have it going on a little bit more and a little bit better than other people from time to time. We are beginning to experiment and think through what that can look like from a technological thing. In other words, I have a second grade teacher who is unbelievably effective in growing kids. That second grade teacher begins to broaden her reach into other classrooms through this technology. So that teacher who is more effective at teaching a particular lesson might not only teach Ms. Jones's class, they may also teach Mr. Johnson's class and Ms. Lewis's class all at the same time through the technology piece. Although those teachers will still be in the room with their classes, we'll be listening to the instruction of the teacher who seems to have it going on just a little bit more. So from time to time, that may be something you see. We may even stretch outside of our building. We've got a teacher over Chickasaw Trails, 20 miles from here, who is an unbelievable biology teacher. We may exercise her into our classrooms. And we may exercise one of our teachers into one of their classrooms, so that we can give our kids the best that we can give them. So I want you to know that those things are being thought about. Those are things that we're looking at doing and providing for our kids to make sure that we continue to be forward thinking, and that by choosing to be here, you're choosing to be in a place where your kids are going to get the best they can get. That's important to us, as well as making sure that we stay safe. We gotta be safe. Guys, we gotta be safe and keep our families safe to be able to thrive. We just have to. Yes, ma'am.
Are all the teachers in the school, are they all vaccinated?
Are all teachers in the school vaccinated is the question, and that's a confidentiality question that I don't even have the answer. Okay, I can't have the access to that. I can tell you this administrator is, but I can also tell you this. I was COVID positive a week ago, and I was out for the second week of school. I was all on my back, but I was completely vaccinated. Right? So I can tell you that's how it works. And I'm 55 years old. I'm an old man. But I don't think myself as an old man. I think myself as an 18-year-old kid. It got me. thought I was Superman, it wouldn't happen, but it did. It did. So nobody is immune to it. I will say many are, that's all I can tell you. Many are, not all. I think more and more people are beginning to see the value of it. I have to believe the fact that I was vaccinated. I had a lot less intense experience than I would have had if I had not been vaccinated. I have to believe it. I do. You know the sad part about it was? Total transparency. 7 days in, I went and got my test. I was negative. The very same day my wife tested. She was negative, taking care of me for the entire week. As soon as I got better, boom, she popped in positive. So I'm telling you, that home component, and listen, it's just me and her. We were on opposite sides of the house, sleeping in separate bedrooms, you name it. Still happened to it. So it's very airborne. This variant that's out right now is very airborne, contagious. It's tough to knock. But the vaccination piece is something I think that is, I'll put it to you this way. This company is encouraging strongly our people to be vaccinated. And here's an example. PTO is paid time off. If you're not a vaccinated teacher and you get COVID, you're taking PTO. Okay, that's your time. If you are vaccinated, they're paying your first 5 days for you. They're not charging you. That's how strongly this company believes in, hey, we need to get ourselves in the situation where we can best serve our kids and put them at the least risk that we possibly can. So, and listen, I'm not here to be an advocate for masks. I'm not here to be an advocate for vaccinations because each and every one of you have your view about that, and I completely respect it. What I do want you to know is I care about your kids. I want them to learn, and I want them to be here to learn. And I want to do everything we can to provide those opportunities so that we don't have to worry about redos that we can't go back and do. We can look back and say, we made good choices, we made it happen. There were some setbacks, it was tough, but you know what? At the end of the day, we did what's best for kids. That, to me, is the most important thing we can do. So do me this favor, make sure you chime into our website. There's also a Taylor Talk that's going to be happening every week. Norm, I didn't miss any last year, and all kinds of episodes, but with COVID got last week, so we didn't get a chance to record. But Miss Bing and I, every week, will be putting things out there that you're going to need to hear and need to know. Commit to me that you'll pay attention to those, that you'll look for. We put them on Facebook, we put it on, is it Twitter too? Do we put it on Twitter or just Facebook?
Both, well, Facebook and YouTube. Are you?
And YouTube, I'm sorry, it's YouTube. So be looking at that, it will also be on our website. Typically, we'll be filming them on Fridays, and they'll come out on Mondays, and it'll sort of give you a heads up of what's happening. Anytime something big like this mask thing that we need to know about is happening, I'm going to put it on School Messenger. It's going to come to you as a text, and it's going to come to you as an email, so you'll see that as well. Now listen, I've kept you way too long tonight. I know you're looking like Taylor. Please, us alone. That's all.
Mr. Taylor.
I want to just tell you, we have a question.
Well, I just want to say, just for the benefit of those that are online, that I don't know if they heard it in the beginning, but we as a school don't make these decisions about whether or not there's a mask requirement or anything like that. We don't make those decisions. So I know there's a lot of people talking about, you know, why doesn't the school promote the mask? We don't have the power to do that as a school, as an individual school.
Right.
So we have to wait for that to come down. So I see a lot of the comments. I couldn't respond to all of them, but just know that all of those things that you're asking are not things that we as a school can mandate. We have to follow the guidance that's provided to us. And right now, we're not allowed to require students to wear masks. We have the policy for the teachers, but we're not allowed to require that. And if that changes,
We're
we'll let
gonna
you
know
know.
right away. We're gonna know right away. And unfortunately, those people are not able to hear everything we're discussing, obviously, because we had already discussed that. They're just not hearing it. So listen, I want you to have a good evening tonight. I want to thank you for being here. God bless every one of you. Hopefully, we don't have a phone call in the next 2 weeks that involves the word "see." Hopefully not, right? Have a great evening.